more from this post apocalyptic scene down here in my basement. And this is about yoga as well. I don't know if you've been asking yourself, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? What am I thinking? Um, that's pretty much the place to start. It's kind of where you finish too, but we'll go into that later. The whole ends as the means kind of thing. But I think that it's also really important to, while you're asking yourself, what am I thinking right now, to uh, not judge those thoughts, to just be interested. And chances are there are going to be things that you're thinking that you wish you didn't think, that you're embarrassed to think, that you're ashamed of thinking. There are things that you do that you wish you didn't do, that you're ashamed of doing, that you try to, you know, closet, not necessarily even from the rest of the world, but also from ourselves. We do that. And the thing is, when we're observing our thoughts, then we don't, we can't just pick and choose which ones are worthy of our attention and which ones are not. And because then we're not practicing yoga, we're just going about our regular lives and, probably gonna feed the sort of misery that that has driven us to want to make a change. So don't be afraid of misery, because, well, you shouldn't be afraid of anything really, but especially not misery, because it can certainly point us in a more positive direction. And I mean, it might not, but if we can take a look at it without judging, then yes, chances are the misery is going to be a blessing. But the key is not to judge, and that's not so easy, because that's what we're taught to do from, like, probably before we're born, right? Is to judge and to determine this is good and this is bad and this is right and this is wrong and this is what we should be doing and this is what we shouldn't be doing. And that's where we get into a lot of trouble. And so I guess while you're in quarantine and while you have the time to sit around and think about what you're thinking, be aware of what you think about what you're thinking. Be aware of those judgmental thoughts that you have about your own thoughts. So now you're aware of your thought, but now you're aware of the awareness of your thought. And so, like, you're getting there, this is good. It's not easy, and it's might not make you, like, happy, but what's happiness? It's really nothing compared to being joyful. And yeah, and we can always be joyful. We can't always be happy, but joyful, yeah. So that's yoga video 3 or 2, I don't know, doesn't matter. And the point is, while you are paying attention to your thought, now pay attention to what you are thinking about your thought.